My name is Ivan, and today I want to walk you inside the 30 days nobody ever shows you. 30 days. You have no idea. Your morning alarm sounds exactly the way it did yesterday and the day before that and every day for the last 3 years. You brew the same coffee, you take the same route to work, you sit at the same desk and answer the same emails and eat the same lunch you packed the night before because somewhere along the way, you realized that $400 a month in restaurant spending was $4,800 a year, and that $4,800 invested annually at 8% average returns turns into roughly $70,000 over 10 years. So you pack lunch, not because you have to, because you did the math once and you never forgot it. Nothing about this morning tells you that in exactly 30 days, your net worth is going to cross 7 figures for the first time in your life. That is a part of this story that nobody talks about. The month before you become a millionaire feels almost identical to every other month. There is no countdown. There is no dramatic shift in your energy or your confidence or your daily schedule. You are not sprinting toward a finish line because you do not even know the finish line is 30 days away. You are just still doing the thing, the same boring, invisible, completely unremarkable thing you have been doing for years, and that is exactly what makes the whole process work. Let me explain why this matters, because I think most people have the wrong mental picture of what becoming a millionaire looks like. They imagine it as an event, a notification, a moment where everything changes and life divides into before and after. Like there is a door, and on one side, you are ordinary, and on the other side, you are wealthy, and walking through it rewrites your entire existence. It does not work like that, not even close. 30 days before the milestone, the person who is about to become a millionaire is doing the exact same things they were doing 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, just slightly more refined, slightly more consistent, slightly more patient. The wealth was built in the ordinary days. The Wednesday nights when they reviewed their investment allocations instead of scrolling their phone for another hour. The Sunday mornings when they ran their numbers over coffee instead of sleeping until noon. The Friday afternoons when they got a raise and moved the increase straight into their brokerage account before their lifestyle had a chance to absorb it. 30 days out, they are not celebrating early. They are not shopping for watches. They are just still running the system. And that consistency is the entire formula. Let me put some numbers around this because context changes everything. 30 days before hitting $1 million, the portfolio is sitting somewhere around $960,000 to $980,000. And something psychologically interesting starts happening at that range that does not happen at $300,000 or even $600,000. The compounding becomes visible in real time. At $970,000, a single average market day, a completely normal, uneventful, nothing special Tuesday in the stock market can move the portfolio by $3,000, $5,000, sometimes $8,000 in one direction. That is money that used to take 2 weeks of disciplined saving to accumulate. Now it just appears because of the sheer size of the base. This is what people mean when they say the first million is the hardest. It is not motivational fluff. It is mathematics. At $100,000, a 10% annual return gives you $10,000. At $500,000, that same 10% gives you $50,000. At $1 million, it delivers $100,000. Same percentage, radically different result. The asset base is doing the heavy lifting now. Think about it this way. Getting from $0 to $100,000 took years. Getting from $100,000 to $200,000 took less time. Getting from $500,000 to $600,000 took even less. And getting from $900,000 to $1 million is going to take a fraction of the time the first $100,000 took. Because the growth is no longer driven primarily by what you contribute from your paycheck. It is driven by what is already there, multiplying on itself month after month automatically. You are still contributing, still adding fuel, but the engine itself is producing more energy than the fuel you are feeding it. And 30 days from the milestone, the person is feeling this for the first time in a visceral, undeniable way. They check their brokerage account over lunch and the number moved. Not because they deposited anything, not because they worked overtime or picked up a side project or sold something on the side. The compounding engine just ran in the background while they lived their normal life. Last Tuesday, the account was at $968,000. This Tuesday, it is at $974,000. $6,000 appeared because of math, not effort. That feeling, that first real preview of money working harder than you do, is the closest thing to a turning point in this entire 30-day window. And even that is quiet. It happens on a phone screen in a parking lot between meetings. Nobody sees it, nobody congratulates them. They just put the phone back in their pocket and walk back inside. Now, here's where the story gets surprising. You would expect someone 30 days from $1 million to feel euphoric, confident, maybe a little smug, and some do, but a significant number of them feel something much closer to quiet anxiety, a tension that was not there 6 months ago. Here is why. They have been playing a long game. For some of them, a decade or more. They have been deferring, staying disciplined, holding the line through periods where discipline felt pointless, and the results felt impossibly far away. They watched friends buy new cars while they drove the same one for another 3 years. They watched coworkers upgrade apartments while they stayed in the same modest place and invested the difference. They sat through market corrections that sliced 30% off their portfolio in a matter of weeks, and they did not sell. They did not panic. They added more. There were moments during those years when they seriously questioned whether any of this was worth it. When the account dropped by $50,000 in a single bad month, and they could have used that $50,000 to put a down payment on a vacation home, to buy a nicer car, to do something that felt real and immediate instead of watching numbers go up and down on a screen. They stayed, not because they had superhuman willpower, but because they had a plan, and the plan accounted for bad months, and now they are close, really close, and proximity to the goal creates a fear they did not have before. What if I lose it now? A 10% market correction at 970,000 sends them back to 873,000. After all that discipline, after all those years of packing lunch and driving the old car and saying no to things that everyone else said yes to, a number on a screen can erase years of patience in a single bad quarter. This fear is actually a sign of sophistication. It means they understand, at a level most people never reach, that wealth is not a destination you arrive at and stay forever. It is a position you maintain, a system you keep running. The $1 million mark is not a finish line. It is a checkpoint that proves the system works, and the system still has to run tomorrow. There is another emotion that shows up in these 30 days. A very specific kind of clarity that is hard to explain to someone who has not felt it. The noise is gone. They stopped caring about what their neighbor drives years ago. They stopped comparing their apartment to their college roommate's house. They stopped scrolling through social media and measuring their life against the highlight reel of people they barely know. They have a number, a plan, and a timeline. And everything that does not feed that system just stopped being interesting to them. That clarity, that quiet, is one of the most underrated benefits of the wealth building process. And it shows up before the million. It is part of what makes the million happen. Because when you are no longer distracted by what other people think you should want, you have an enormous amount of mental energy to direct at what you actually need to do. Let me introduce you to two people. You already know them. Rich Richard is 30 days from 7 figures. Poor Peter is also earning the same income as Richard, has been for years, and is nowhere close. Same city, same industry, similar base salaries, completely different trajectories, and the reasons why are not dramatic or complicated. They are boring and repetitive, and that is precisely the point. Rich Richard automated his investing 7 years ago. A fixed percentage of every paycheck gets redirected into index funds before it ever touches his checking account. He never sees it. He never decides whether to move it this month. He never talks himself out of it because the market looks shaky or because there is a sale on something he wants. The money just goes. Every single paycheck, rain or shine, bull market or bear market. Poor Peter invests manually, which means he invests emotionally. When the market is up, he feels confident and puts money in. When the market drops, he freezes. When an unexpected expense hits, he skips a month, then 2 months. Then he just sort of stops and promises himself he will catch up later. He never catches up later. Rich Richard stopped tracking every dollar a few years ago. He went through the spreadsheet phase, the obsessive budgeting phase, the phase where he knew exactly how much he spent on coffee in April. That was useful early on when he needed to find the leaks, but now his system is simpler, a few high-level numbers reviewed once a week. Is the savings rate holding? Are income streams healthy? Is the allocation still aligned with the long-term plan? That is it. The system runs. Poor Peter still does not track anything. He has a vague sense of his bank balance. He knows roughly when he gets paid. But the gap between what he earns and what he keeps is a number he has never actually calculated. And that gap is where wealth is built or destroyed. He earns well. He just does not keep well. Rich Richard's income comes from more than one source. Not because he is grinding 5 side hustles. Because over years of building skills and showing up consistently, Opportunities accumulated. A professional skill became a consulting income. The consulting income led to a small equity stake in a client's business. His primary job salary grew because he kept investing in his own capabilities. None of this was planned as a grand strategy. It compounded naturally, the same way money compounds. Poor Peter's income comes from one paycheck. He has thought about diversifying, he has bookmarked courses, he has told himself next quarter, but next quarter has been next quarter for 4 years running. Rich Richard spends below his means, but not dramatically. He is not eating rice and beans at $970,000 of net worth. He goes to restaurants, he takes vacations, he buys things he values, but he never inflated his lifestyle in proportion to his income growth. Every raise, a portion went to savings first, then life adjusted to what remained. Not the other way around. Poor Peter lifts his lifestyle with every raise. A better apartment after the promotion, a nicer car after the bonus, a more expensive gym after the salary bump. His income has grown substantially over the last decade, and he has nothing to show for it because his spending grew at the same rate. He is on a treadmill dressed up as a career ladder, and Rich Richard carries almost no high interest debt. He dealt with that years ago aggressively because he understood that paying 18% interest on a credit card balance while trying to earn 10% in the stock market is like running uphill on a conveyor belt. The math does not work. You cannot outrun compound interest working against you by relying on compound interest working for you at a lower rate. The only debt he carries is a mortgage with a low fixed rate and equity building on the other side of it. Poor Peter carries $11,000 in credit card debt. He has carried a balance for 3 years. He makes minimum payments and tells himself he will pay it down when he gets his next bonus. The interest on that balance is costing him roughly $2,000 a year in pure waste. Money that buys nothing, builds nothing, goes nowhere except into the pockets of a credit card company. $2,000 a year for 3 years is $6,000 that could have been working for him. Instead, it worked against him. Here is what makes the Richard and Peter comparison so frustrating and so important at the same time. None of Richard's advantages are secret. None of them require special knowledge or connections or a high IQ. Automate your investing, track your savings rate, build a secondary income stream, keep your lifestyle below your income, eliminate high interest debt. These are not original ideas. They are painfully obvious, and that is exactly why most people ignore them. We are wired to look for the clever solution, the hidden strategy, the thing nobody else knows about. But wealth is not built on secrets. It is built on execution of fundamentals over a long enough timeline that compounding does the rest. If you are getting value from this, take a second and hit subscribe. It helps the channel and it means you will catch the next one. Now let me take you inside the actual day, 30 days from 7 figures. Rich Richard wakes up at 6:30. His investments already ran overnight. Automated. He set this up years ago and has not thought about it since. The coffee's brewing. He checks his portfolio once, maybe twice a week now. Not obsessively, not anxiously, more like checking the weather, just a glance to confirm the system is running. His morning is unremarkable. Commute, desk, emails, meetings. The same routine as every other professional in his office. Nobody at work knows his net worth. He does not talk about money at the office, not because he is secretive, but because there is nothing to talk about. The system runs. What is there to say? His coworkers talk about the stock market when it makes headlines. They talk about crypto when it spikes. They talk about real estate when prices jump. Rich Richard listens politely and says almost nothing. He learned years ago that talking about money openly invites 2 things he does not want: unsolicited opinions about what he should do differently, and requests for financial help from people who confuse proximity with entitlement. So he keeps quiet. His wealth is invisible by design. He packs his lunch 3 days a week. The other 2 he eats out with colleagues because relationships matter and he budgets for that. He does not feel deprived. He does not feel like he is sacrificing. He redefined what enough meant years ago, and his current lifestyle fits comfortably inside that definition. Enough is not a number he arrived at accidentally. He sat down one evening, years ago, and wrote out exactly what his ideal life looked like on a daily basis. The answer surprised him. It was not yachts and penthouses. It was time, control over his schedule, the ability to say no to things that drained him and yes to things that mattered, financial security for his family, the freedom to walk away from any job or situation that compromised his values. That definition of enough has not changed, even as his net worth grew. And that consistency is the reason the net worth grew. After work, He spends an hour on a consulting call. This is his secondary income stream, and it brings in an additional $1,500 to $2,000 a month. He does not love every minute of it, but he understands that this additional income, invested consistently, accelerates the compounding engine significantly. An extra $2,000 a month at an 8% average return adds roughly $350,000 over 10 years. He knows this number because he calculated it once. He does not need to calculate it again. He eats dinner, watches something, goes to bed. That is it. That is the whole day, 30 days before becoming a millionaire. There is no celebration, no visible marker, no moment where the universe nods in his direction and says, "You are almost there." It is just Tuesday, and here's what I want you to understand about that. The ordinariness of that day is not a disappointment. It is the whole point. If the 30 days before becoming a millionaire required heroic effort or dramatic sacrifice or some rare stroke of genius, then the system would not be replicable. It would not be available to you. The fact that it looks boring, that it looks like every other month, means anyone can do it. You just have to keep doing it long enough. 30 days from the milestone, there are a few things Rich Richard understands about money that poor Peter has never figured out. First, he knows that income is not wealth. He watched high earners burn through six-figure salaries and end up with nothing saved. He understood early that the number on your paycheck is almost irrelevant compared to the gap between what you earn and what you keep. The savings rate is the engine. Everything else is noise. Second, he understands that the market will always feel uncertain. There has never been a single moment in the last 15 years where every analyst agreed it was a safe time to invest. There was always a recession coming, always a political crisis brewing, always inflation or interest rates or some geopolitical situation that made the headlines feel alarming. Rich Richard stopped waiting for the safe moment because he realized the safe moment does not exist. He invested consistently through all of it. Through the tariff scares, through the pandemic crash, through the inflation spike, through every single headline that made people freeze, and the people who waited for the right time are still waiting. They have been waiting for 5 years, 10 years, sometimes longer. And during that time, the broad market has continued to climb its long-term trajectory upward, carrying the patient investors with it while the cautious ones sat in cash, watching their purchasing power erode at 3, 4, 5% a year from inflation. Waiting felt safe. It was the most expensive decision they ever made. Third, he stopped measuring his progress against other people's timelines. The person online showing off their portfolio at 27, the colleague who bought a house at 30, the friend who retired early. Rich Richard does not know their starting capital, their inheritance, their family support structure, their expenses. He does not know if they are telling the truth. He does not know if the portfolio screenshot is a brokerage account or a demo. Comparison is corrosive to a long-term wealth strategy, and he cut it out of his life the same way he cut out high-interest debt, deliberately and permanently. And fourth, he knows the million is not the end. It is evidence that the system works. The number itself does not change his daily life in any meaningful way. He is not going to quit his job at 1 million. He is not going to buy a sports car. He is not going to move to a bigger house. The system that built the first million is the same system that will build the second million, and the second will come faster because the compounding base is larger now. The milestone is a scoreboard check, not a destination. Then the day comes. 30 days pass. He opens his brokerage app on a Thursday morning, standing in his kitchen, still in the clothes he slept in. The coffee is half gone. The house is quiet. He opens the app out of habit, the way you check the weather or glance at the clock. And the number is there, 7 figures, 1 million and change. For a moment, he just looks at it. There is no confetti and no notification from the bank and no certificate in the mail. He told nobody it was coming because he did not know it was coming. He did not have a countdown timer. He was not refreshing the screen every hour for the past week. He just checked, and there it was. He stands in his kitchen for maybe 20 seconds looking at the number. He scrolls down to see the breakdown, the contributions he made over the years versus the growth the market provided. And for the first time, the growth column is significantly larger than the contributions column. The money he invested made more money than he did. That is the crossover point. That is the moment the entire strategy was designed to create. He does not screenshot it. He does not post it anywhere. He does not call his parents or text a friend. He thinks about telling his partner over dinner tonight, and he probably will, casually, because they have been building this together. But the moment itself is private, and it is small, And that is appropriate because this was never about the moment. It was about the thousands of small decisions that led to it. Nearly everyone who has crossed this line describes the feeling the same way. Surprisingly quiet, not euphoric, not life-changing, more like confirmation, a settled, almost calm recognition that the plan worked, not in a victorious way, in a factual way. The framework was real. The math was right. The discipline was worth it. Of course it worked. It was always going to work. He closes the app, pours another cup of coffee, drives to work. The system runs again tomorrow, and that is the part I want to leave you with. Because I think too many people are waiting for the journey to feel different than this. They are waiting for the exciting part, the breakthrough, the moment when building wealth stops feeling invisible and starts feeling dramatic. That moment does not come. And chasing it is the most expensive mistake you can make, because every time you abandon a boring strategy for an exciting one, you reset the compounding clock. Every time you pull money out because you found something more interesting to do with it, you lose years of growth. Every time you compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 12, you create the kind of doubt that makes people quit systems that were already working. The 30 days before the million look almost identical to the 30 days before 500,000 and the 30 days before 200,000. Because the behavior is the same. The system is the same. The patience is the same. You do not transform into a different person right before the milestone. You were already that person the day you set up the automation and decided to stop inflating your lifestyle and committed to investing no matter what the headline said. The milestone just confirms what was already true. So if you are early in the process, if the number feels impossibly far away, if you packed your lunch today and wondered whether it even matters, it matters. Every single packed lunch that sends $12 into a brokerage account instead of a restaurant cash register matters. Not because $12 is going to make you rich, but because the habit of choosing the future over the present, consistently, every day, without drama, without recognition, without anyone noticing, that is the habit that builds 7 figures. The $12 is just the vehicle. The discipline is the engine. If you skip the upgrade and put the difference into your brokerage account and felt nothing, that nothing is the feeling of wealth being built. Wealth does not announce itself. It does not send you a notification every time you make the right choice. It accumulates silently, in the background, in account balances you check every few days. And one day those balances are larger than you expected, and then significantly larger, and then large enough that the compounding starts doing things you can see in real time. But you have to survive the silent period to get there. If you checked your balance and it barely moved and you thought about giving up, do not give up. The compounding curve is not linear, it is exponential. And the defining characteristic of an exponential curve is that it looks flat for a very long time before it goes vertical. You are in the flat part, the part where it feels like nothing is happening, the part where everyone around you seems to be getting ahead faster, the part where quitting feels rational because the evidence in front of you does not yet support the math you were promised. The curve is coming. The math does not lie, it just takes longer than your patience wants it to. Build the system. Run it every month. Do not stop when it feels invisible. The Thursday morning will come.